Greetings to all who are listening from across the multiverse. This is a broadcast from a classified location where we study, analyze, and discuss all manners of creatures from across dimensions in an effort to learn more about their origins, abilities, combat behaviors, as well as some of their weaknesses and any other secrets they might have to offer. This is a report from the facility. The Yautja, otherwise known as the predator or the hunter, is a very deadly and advanced species, characterized by their hunting of other dangerous species for sport or for honor. They originate from a planet only known as Yautja Prime, but much of their evolutionary history and development is unknown to most of the multiverse. Yautja culture centers on the ritualistic hunting of other dangerous life forms, and this practice appears to be the foundation of the very society. Predators will travel huge distances, even across the entire galaxy, in order to face opponents they consider a worthy challenge, and may also kidnap and transport prey across similar distances to bring such victims to a hunting ground of their choice. Yautjas are a sentient, humanoid race that breathe an atmosphere similar to that of Earth's, but possess a level of technological advancement far in excess of anything available to humans or most other species that reside in its universe. Aside from their repeated conflicts with humans, the predators have notably been associated with xenomorphs, whom they revere as perhaps the most worthy of all prey. They have also been known to deliberately breed xenomorphs in order to hunt them, often as a part of an initiation ritual for young predators. The Yautja have a code of honor that they expect all members of their species to adhere to. If they don't, they risk being viewed as not a true Yautja and risk being destroyed by their peers. Therefore, most Yautja are molded around that code, being ruthless but at the same time honorable. Aggression and arrogance seems to be innate in hunters, especially the young males that have yet to prove their might to their elders. Predators are bipedal humanoids, physically distinguishable from humans by their greater height, the long, hair-like appendages on their heads, their reptilian skin, and their faces, which feature arthropod-like mandibles and no visible nose. The biological purpose of the distinctive mandibles is unclear. Some have proposed that they may be used in reproduction or mating rituals. They may also be a vestigial piece of anatomy, much like the human appendix. We do know that they use them to convey emotions. For example, flared mandibles can signify anger or surprise. Clicking of the mandibles can demonstrate interest or curiosity. While generally uniform, each Yautja's physical appearance includes a number of subtle variations akin to human genetic diversity. Similarly, while predators' heights vary, they are typically over 7 feet tall, although some of them have been known to grow to 8 feet tall or even taller. Despite this, shorter individuals have been recorded. These individuals are unusual, and their smaller height can be subject to ridicule in Yautja society. The species' reptile-like skin can change in color from light to dark, be mottled or clear, and can appear dry or moist and clammy. Their blood is luminescent phosphor green in color, and curiously enough has the capacity to partially neutralize the acidity of xenomorph blood. It has also been known to bestow significant life-giving properties on humans, capable of extending one's lifespan well beyond that what would normally be possible. It is thought that Yautja may be cold-blooded, hence their documented affinity for hot, humid conditions and the thermal netting built into their suits. Predator vision operates mainly in the infrared portion of the electromagnetic spectrum. They can easily detect heat differentials in their surroundings, allowing them to easily identify and locate prey. A predator's helmet or biohelmet greatly increases its abilities to see in a multitude of spectrums, ranging from the low infrared to the high ultraviolet, and also filters ambient heat from the area, allowing them to distinguish prey with greater clarity and detail. While the lifespan of a predator is not known, it is accepted as being well in the excess of most species in the universe. It is believed that the predator elders can live for hundreds to thousands of years. It has also been implied that 1 or 2 centuries is considered young for the species, with relative adolescence of the species not even going on their first xenomorph hunt before they attain the age of a few centuries. Most, however, do not reach senescence due to the rigors of their dangerous and semi-nomadic lifestyle. Predators possess their own language, both in spoken and written form, the form of which it resembles a series of clicks, roars, snarls, and growls. They also have dialects, which deviate sharply enough from the Yautja common tongue that translators cannot make heads or tails of it. The written language is expressed in a pattern of dashes, not dissimilar in form and function to many Earth-based languages. Predators regularly imitate human speech that they overhear. It is unclear to what degree the Yautja can comprehend this speech, although the creatures seem to hold some understanding of the language, as they have been known to repeat phrases as a form of communication with prey.
Want some candy?
Ryan! Come on, like this minute.
Mommy, I saw a cat! Want some candy? Candy?
It has been known for humans in Yautja, curiously enough, to be able to successfully communicate using sign language. Additionally, as demonstrated by the jungle and the city hunters, while individual Yautjas make different sounds, a very common sound emitted by them is a high-pitched, human-like shriek, mainly while using their med kits to dress their wounds. Much more can be discussed about the Yautja society and its complex history across the stars. But now that we have a basic understanding of their biology and what little there is to be known about their origin of the species, let's move on to their preferred weapons and combat behaviors. The hunters stalk and kill their prey using a combination of highly advanced technology such as active camouflage and energy weapons. Predators often ritualistically mutilate their prey and usually claim a trophy for their kills, preferably heads still attached to the spinal cords. Capable of interstellar travel in starships, the predators have hunted on Earth and around the cosmos for centuries. Yautja technology is distinctive in many respects, not at least of which unusual combination of ornate tribal appearances masking deadly, sophisticated weaponry. However, despite the species' obvious technological prowess, including access to adaptive camouflage and weaponry, traditional ancient weapons like blades, knives, and spears are still widely used, considered by the Yautjas to be more honorable than advanced technology. We will now go over their most commonly used weaponry during hunts, along with a brief description of their functions. The biohelmet is one of the main tools used by the Yautja. As well as performing the basic function of protecting a predator's head, the helmet also grants the wearer access to multiple vision modes, including zoom capabilities, facilitates vocal mimicry, diagnostics, and visual and audio recording systems. The helmet often also incorporates a rect targeting laser used in conjunction with a plasma caster. Speaking of which, the plasma caster, also known as plasma cannon, laser cannon, or shoulder cannon, is a Yautja long-range energy projector weapon with automatic targeting capabilities. Capable of firing armor-penetrating plasma bolts at distant targets, and it is arguably the most devastating and technologically advanced offensive tool at the Yautja's disposal. The bolts fired by the weapon explode in a burst of plasma shrapnel upon striking a target, causing deadly wounds and potentially damaging other enemies near the point of impact. Wrist blades, also known as gauntlet knives, are the most basic of Yautja weapons and arguably the species' signature armament. The weapon takes the form of retractable, serrated blades between 6 and 18 inches in length and 2 to 8 inches wide that extend over the back of the hand from a gauntlet worn on a predator's wrist. Generally, Yautja wear a single gauntlet on one wrist fitted with a pair of parallel blades, but there are a number of stylistic variations to this basic arrangement. Despite their relative simplicity, wrist blades are the weapon of choice for most predators. The deadly blades are sharp enough to cut through bone and are intended for use against unarmored combatants or those who have been disarmed. As a last resort, they can sometimes be fired as a projectile from their gauntlets. The combi stick, also known as the telescopic spear, is a spear-like Yautja weapon. A combi stick is telescopic, making it relatively small and easy to store when not in use, but extending to its full length when required in combat. It is made of incredibly light, sharp, thin, but strong material, and it can be used both as close quarters hand-to-hand weapon and thrown like a spear. The Smart Disc, also known as the Smart Weapon, Cutting Disc, or simply the Disc, is a primarily thrown Yautja weapon. It is an extremely sharp circular cutting device that is typically thrown like a discus and yet returns to the user like a boomerang. It also features a hand grip for use as a melee slashing weapon. The Self-Destruct device is a powerful Yautja explosive device built into a predator's wrist gauntlet. This weapon of last resort is used by Yautja both as a means by which to commit honorable suicide in the face of imminent defeat, and also to remove any evidence of their existence and prevent their technology from falling into the hands of another species. As such, it is an indispensable piece of equipment, and Yautja would never venture on a hunt without it. The Wrist Gauntlet, also known as the Wrist Bracer or Wrist Computer, is a piece of wrist-worn Yautja technology. It houses several technologically advanced features, including a SATCOM and the aforementioned powerful self-destruct device, as well as controls for a predator's cloak and in some cases their plasma caster. A wrist gauntlet is possibly the most prized of the predator's technology, and its loss is often met with severe punishment. Last but not least is of course the hunter's signature cloaking technology. The cloak, also known as the invisibility system or shift suit, is an advanced piece of Yautja technology that is able to render the user invisible, or nearly invisible, to the naked eye, as well as many forms of electronic scanning. The cloak warps light around the user's body in such a fashion that surfaces behind the creature are visible through the predator's body. The effect is not perfect, often leaving a visible silhouette similar to heat haze, but in certain environments, and when the predator remains motionless, it can effectively help a predator to hide in plain sight. They have also been known to wear a protective but sectional assemblage of armor across the body while on a hunt. Interestingly, hunters rarely wear full protective suits of armor, opting to go into a hunt with minimal armor and a biohelmet. The reason for this is not well known, although since hunts require stealth, speed, and a fair bit of athleticism, Yautjas may forego it for this reason, as heavy armor often sacrifices mobility. However, some of them choose to wear less armor as a silent testament of their skill. They use these weapons in an effort to become the most fearsome and successful hunters the universe has ever seen, and to great success, may I add. A typical hunt will begin with a predator stalking its prey from higher ground in order to gain knowledge on their patterns and weak spots, all while keeping their cloak active in order to remain unseen at all times. They usually prefer to take the stealth approach, as it is the most effective way to hunt given their skill set and technology, but if they are somehow detected or their surprise kill strike doesn't go as planned, they will fearlessly and ferociously engage in open combat with their prey. Whether that be ranged using their plasma cannon or smart disc, or close up and personal using their wrist blades and combi stick. And if somehow, some way, all their weapons are made useless or unavailable, they are still creatures of incredible strength and agility that can and will use their fist and even swift kicks to take down their opponents. After vanquishing their foes, they will take their trophies from them and often skin them and hang them up for display if possible. Although these incredible engines of destruction and death seem to be undefeatable and unkillable to most, they do possess some weaknesses and have amazingly enough been defeated in battle before by a few worthy, notable warriors. Let's go into some of those weaknesses as well as the brave few who held their own in combat against the mighty hunter. Their vision operates mainly in the infrared portion of the electromagnetic spectrum. They can easily detect heat differentials in their surroundings, but are unable to easily distinguish among objects of the same relative temperature, which makes hunting prey that are intelligent enough to know how their vision operates a bit trickier for them, especially if said prey finds a way to blend their body temperature to that of the surrounding environment. Their biomask help aid their vision by allowing them to see in various spectrums of light, although if it were to become damaged or removed during combat, they would be at a disadvantage in terms of sight. Even though predators rarely, if ever, flee from a fight, if they were to be severely injured and were forced to, it would prove challenging for them, as their luminescent phosphorus green blood would create a clear trail for the prey to then become the hunter and easily track down the injured Yautja. While the cloak is very effective when employed against prey that primarily rely on vision, it is notably useless when engaged in a xenomorph hunt, as the xenomorph are still able to sense the Yautja warriors even when the cloak is engaged. Despite its advantages, the cloak is not perfect. When the user moves, there's a man-shaped distortion in the air that, depending on the background conditions, may be quite noticeable. The effect of the cloak is notoriously short-circuited when they come into contact with even a small amount of water. Although the effect is not terminal, and once the predator removes themselves from the water, the cloak can be re-engaged. They can also be damaged and or deactivated when the user is attacked physically, causing the predator to become visible. Both projectile impacts and direct physical assault have been shown to cause this effect. Similarly, an electromagnetic pulse will disrupt the cloak, although again it causes no long-term damage to the system and it can be re-engaged once the effect has worn off. Predator can also be prideful and honorable to a fault, to the point where no real hunter warrior could ever resist a show of confidence by its rival, meaning that if the prey is aware that it is being stalked and decides to turn and challenge the creature to open combat, there is very little doubt that the Yautja would then reveal itself and face its enemy honorably in open combat. Worthy opponents have exploited this in order to lure the hunter into a position that would increase their odds against the monster. This approach was employed by Major Alan Schaefer, better known as Dutch, after he set up various deadly traps around a certain perimeter in the jungles of Guatemala, where he faced a deadly young-blooded Yautja after said predator decimated his entire squad. He proves to be a worthy adversary and defeated the monster that killed his friends. When Dutch demanded to know what it was, the dying predator mockingly repeated Dutch's question in garbled English, then activated its self-destruct device and mimicked one of his fallen comrade's voice as he laughed maniacally at the human standing over him in a last-ditch effort to kill him. Dutch ran for cover as the creature's wrist gauntlet detonated, killing it and igniting the jungle in a massive explosion. Following the jungle hunter's demise, its ship automatically returned to Yautja Prime, taking with it a record of everything that happened in Guatemala in the form of a recording automatically relayed through the creature's biohelmet and stored aboard the vessel. These records were thoroughly studied by the Yautja and led to increased respect for humanity's capabilities. Notably, the city hunter was motivated to travel to Earth and hunt man himself as a direct result of these recordings. The City Hunter, also known as Ghost, was a Yautja from the Los Angeles hunting party that conducted a hunt in the city during the heatwave and gang war of 1997. He eventually came into conflict with both a government task force attempting to capture him and a veteran LAPD detective, Lieutenant Mike Harrigan. The City Hunter was killed in close-quarter combat with Harrigan aboard his mothership heading beneath the city. With the hunter defeated, Harrigan suddenly found himself surrounded by several more of the creatures. Exhausted, he resigned himself to his fate. However, the leader of the predators, Greyback, honored Harrigan with an antique flintlock pistol from the year 1715. After gathering their fallen comrades' bodies, the predators left aboard a ship as Harrigan fled from the exhaust. Harrigan's encounter with the Yautja would be remembered by members of the alien species for many generations, with the Los Angeles hunting party revering him as a worthy adversary and warrior. Not many other human beings have survived encounters with predators, although it is believed that others have bested a group of super predators in a game-preserved planet. Not much is known from this isolated event, but it appears as it was yet another occasion in which a capable human soldier bested what can be considered as the ultimate warrior. Humans and Earth seem to be a nexus of sort for these kind of encounters across the multiverse, whether it's xenomorphs attempting to use humanity as a means of mass reproduction, or Yautjas using the planet as a hunting ground to prove their worthiness. Some species, though, come to Earth in more mysterious and nefarious ways, with intentions not as simple as reproducing or hunting. Some wish to simply assimilate all life on the planet. But that, my friends, is a topic for another day. Thank you for watching, and I hope that you've enjoyed this broadcast from the facility. If you like what you've seen and would like to receive more of these broadcasts in the future, then please like and subscribe down below. Until next time, this is the facility, signing out.